right, we're live.
All right, so good morning, everybody. On Periscope, I'm Matt Manero. You're watching our morning scrum from Commercial Fleet Financing in Dallas, Texas. Leaders in equipment financing, winner of 2014 Inc. 500 Fastest Growing Companies, 2015 Inc. 500 5,000 Fastest Growing Companies, and as of yesterday, winner of the Dallas 100 Fastest Growing Companies for 2015. Right? So that means we must be doing something right, right? It must mean that, right? I mean, isn't that the question on Periscope? Who's doing it right? So we're moving in a different direction with these Periscopes. We're going to deliver real takeaways to ourselves and to the Periscope audience of how do you grow a business and how do you do things the right way. So today what we're going to go through is what does it look like? How do you build structure for your sales team? Because we all know this, the biggest challenge is one of two things from a sales organization, right? Lack of structure or lack of effort. That's it. And in our world for 20 years, it's nobody's fault but mine, we've delivered lack of structure to our team. And so we're spending a tremendous amount of time and effort putting structure in place, okay? My morning meetings with Jamal, redoing all of the intranet so we have more structure, revisiting Golden Gate as a CRM system, all this other stuff. You need to be doing it in your business on Periscope too. So here's what it looks like. If you're an account manager in our office, here's what your day looks like, right? Anybody want to go through it with me to make sure we're all on the same page? Let's just say we get to the office and our standard office hours are 8:30 to 5. So we all know that a lot of us get here before 8. We also know that a lot of us stay past 8, past 5. But
or 8.
Right?
Just 14.
7 to 10 hour, not hours, window of time. We get to the office, the first thing our account managers do is what?
Grant Cardone.
Okay, so we do Cardone University training. So we skill up. Skill up. Okay? What else we do?
Social media.
Okay? We do our social media stuff. Social media for us is the creation of new stuff as well as the retweeting and favoriting of the stuff that our team puts out, both as Commercial Fleet Financing or CFF Nation or us individually. Because we all know that when you get the interaction on social media, when you see the number of favorites, the number of retweets go up, it means that your stuff is more meaningful to the marketplace. So we do our social media. What else do we do here? Right out of the gates when we get here.
Close the deal.
We handle the tough stuff, right? So those tough calls that are stringing on, the stuff that kept us up last night, the calls that we know we need to make.
Turn down.
The turn downs in our office, right? This tough stuff. Go over the hardcore credit approval. It's not exactly like we thought it was going to be, but let's talk to the customer about it. The tough questions, the tough stuff gets handled. 9:30, meeting, sales meeting, role play. 10 o'clock to 12 happens what?
Prospecting.
Okay? It's prospecting versus processing. We do not want to be processing. How many of us spend our days figuring out ways to not make outbound phone calls when we need to be making the outbound phone calls? It's a lot easier in our office and on someone on Periscope's office to how do I create a direct mailer? How do I create graphic design work? You don't want to be doing that shit for a couple hours a day. So in our office from 10 to 12, you are prospecting for new business. 12 to 1 is lunch plus
Cardone.
more Cardone. More Cardone University. 1 to 5 is
Prospecting and processing.
so now prospecting plus processing. This is where it becomes okay to start doing the administrative work. All right? And there was an example yesterday in our office, or the day before yesterday, where one of our sales guys came in at 11:15 to talk to me about a deal, and I said, what are we talking about this deal for right now? And his stance, well, I'm not talking about it, I'm going to work on it later. Oh, really? Well, why is there an email at 11:15 to one of the other national sales managers in here asking him to review your lender write-up at 11:15, right? That's processing during the time frame that we should be prospecting, okay? What happens at 5 o'clock or whatever it is, 5:05, 5:30, what happens then? To-do list for the next day. Because we want to create a to-do list for the following day based on the structure of what's funding, what's in for funding, what docs are coming back, what approvals do we have, what apps do we need to get for approval, so we structure our flow for the following day. So when we leave, we're not plagued by what are we thinking about, okay? Here's how it translates. 75 calls or 3 hours of talk time. In our office, for those on Periscope, in our office, talk time is inclusive of not just outbound phone calls. So it's inbound or outbound. I never understood why companies only count outbound phone calls. I mean, shit, you're making an outbound phone call, so hopefully the guy calls you back, but you don't count the inbound phone call? The inbound phone call or return phone call is the most important call. They only count outbound. We count them both. That totals 75 calls for the day or 3 hours talk time. That's what we're looking for as a minimum. That also generates 3 to 6 Cardone universities per day, and then it has a completed to-do list for the following day. That's the structure of an account manager in our world. Now, let's be real about it. How many guys, we know this, how many guys have been breaking this lately? Just raise your hand, it's no problem, because we all do it, right? How many guys have been adhering to it, right? Did I see one? You know, Tim does have his own version of it, but it's a standardization, isn't it, Tim? Mm-hmm. You know exactly what your day looks like. Oh, yeah. It is not a reactive day. Tim knows exactly what his day looks like. So this is how, if you're looking for a real takeaway on Periscope, internally here, if we're looking for, we're feeling the structure's not quite there, here's the structure, you need to adhere to it. If you don't have this in your office on Periscope, here's a great takeaway that you just learned by watching our morning scrum. Internally here, guys, this is how it should go. Now, what's the check and balance on this? See, I get the check and balance every day. You know why? Because by about 9:15, if I don't see in my Twitter account that Bob White retweeted me or Kevin Vick favorited me, I know that Bob White and Kevin Vick didn't do their social media push for the day. I know. If I know that Mo didn't do it either. Did you do it today, Mo?
Today? No.
But he's giving you a lot of hearts on Periscope.
I'm giving you more heart.
That's what you do? I thought you were getting bored, Mo. Hey.
Well, thank you.
So here's who leads on it right now. Here's who leads on the social media push. Taylor leads on it. Caden leads on it. I'd hate to be in Caden's Twitter feed because it's like 15 favorites and that's it. There's no new content. It's only retweets and favorites of somebody else.
One step at a time.
Alex leads on this. I see a little bit from Marcos every once in a while, and that's pretty much it. So the rest of you guys, if you're building a Twitter follower or a Facebook following or a LinkedIn following or an Instagram or a Snapchat following, you need to push content to it. You need to get content in it. So the check and balance is who's using their social media, because I get to see who's retweeting or favoriting our stuff. Okay? Handling the tough stuff, you know, we don't have a lot of tough stuff. We just don't. Every once in a while we have this irate situation that's blowing up or percolating. But in general, I mean, everyone has worked in offices where it's like nothing but putting out fires all day long, right? We don't have much of that, okay? This, right? We get that in our watchdog report. There's always an issue with that, all right? And then the rest of the stuff I think is pretty good because the numbers are reflective. I think we're 12, the pipeline is like 12.3 million in it right now. And that's not deals working, that's just docs out on the street are funded. That's a big number for us. What's 12.3 million times 12?
144.
Okay, 144 million for the year. That's the right number. That's a big number for our office right now. I would say 12.3 million is probably close to the highest it's been year to date, okay? So I know that this stuff works. Where it really works is when the guy starts to really just not know what the hell's going on, and we can start dropping this in. and they can start following it, and it starts to clear their mind. And I know it's already happening for a few of the newer guys. I already see that adherence to this structure is helping some of the newer guys, okay? Okay, any comments on this? Any changes that anybody would like to see? Any adjustments? Any things that you think doesn't work out? Things that we could make a twist or a change on? Then it stays. All right, cool, that's it, that's it. Thanks everybody on Periscope, appreciate you. Anybody on Periscope got any questions for Mo?
Oh.
Mo, why'd you stop giving the hearts, man? Do something
on the
for me.
spot, so-
Look at man. Trying to get to 1 million hearts. Shit, Mo. All right, that's it.